Okay, I'm here. I made it. I am going to try this podcast. Let me turn this down or turn this thing off in the background. I'm over here listening to my gospel music. I have to. Um, I want to start a podcast uh, for generally anybody who cannot afford to go to counseling. I had to retire early, and I wasn't even prepared to retire, but I had to due to holding on and keeping that intact, my mental stability. And I know it's a lot of us out there that are in the same boat, but if you were able to retire and you were able to retire early, that's okay. You're going to be all right. Because if I'm okay, you're going to be okay. It's a lot of things I cannot afford, but there's some things that I can afford. And a lot of times I look at, well, maybe I should, just, leave the country and try to live in another country. And I did that. And it wasn't nothing wrong with it, I packed my bags and I went over to Jamaica and sat in a 2-bedroom flat for $160 a month. Gated community. All right. It was nice. Well, the house itself was gated, not the whole community. But it was nice. It was nice. However, there's some things that really bothered me about being in a so-called black country. They're over there killing each other. They're over there don't even care about a life. A life doesn't mean anything to them. Nothing. And that's the sad part, because I ran from the United States to go to a country with people who look like this. And I get over there and folks they're just staring at me like that, like, I know you don't belong here. And I went for my driver's license, and this guy told me straight up, the guy at the DMV, he said, go home. So I knew I didn't belong there. But I stayed anyway. I stayed anyway because I was able to afford the living. However, the food, everybody, praised about, Caribbean food and how it was good. It wasn't all that great to me. It wasn't. I could have done better. I would look to see if I can find some fresh food and just cook it myself. Because everybody cooks the same thing. Jerk chicken, jerk chicken, jerk chicken, and fish. And I mean, that's cool. That's cool if that's what you like. But I don't know. I don't know. It had its perks. I like the fact that I was able to eat fresh. Everything was fresh over there. Even the chicken. I had to, they tried to get me to cut my own or kill my own chicken. I couldn't do that. Because I'm used to just going to the grocery store and just buying a chicken. And just frying it. Now I can't even eat a chicken. Because I keep thinking about the poor chicken that I half cut his neck. And I know it was suffering. And now I feel bad. I'm going to remember that for the rest of my life. So, when we say, oh, I want to live in another country, go live in another country. You just gotta make sure which country. Right now, I'm back in the United States, and I'm really thinking about leaving again because I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. It's just too much politics going on here. Everybody's fighting over power, and 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 this thing about the abortion, and why don't they want people to get abortions? Why why are they putting laws on women's bodies? That's why when I was raising kids, and I have kids. When I was raising my kids, and I only have girls, and I told them, I said, don't bring no kids in this world, and they never did, and they watched their friends bring kids in this world, and they're suffering. They're trying to figure out how to feed the kids, and how who they're gonna get to watch the kids while they go to work. Wasn't none of that planned. Was none of that planned, and I knew. Because I went through it, and I told my kids, don't even have any kids. If women of all color, if we just stop having children, there's not going to be no more power. And well, after everybody dies off, who they going to have? Who's going to be in power? Everybody wants to be the president of the United States. Nobody wants you to have an abortion because they want you to continue to have these children so they can continue to stay in power. I mean, whatever, dude. But I just think that if a woman wants to have an abortion, that's on her. That's on her. That's between her and God. And no one else is responsible for that person's behavior. You don't know if it was a mistake. You don't know if it was, forcefully rape. You don't know if they just figure out that it just wasn't time. Or maybe there's something wrong with the baby, and they didn't see it until the 5th or 6th months. That the baby's going to be, deformed in some type of way, and you have to abort the fetus. I mean, come on. But, whatever. I just want to put this podcast out there. Oh, and I have so many things to discuss. But I'm not going to do it right now. This is a trial basis. So I'm just going to get this out there just to see if I can get anyone's attention and see if they want to discuss the fact that they're in the same boat that I'm in. The fact that I had to retire earlier than I could afford. What do you do? Especially with the economy the way it is right now. Because what I did something very drastic. I mean, when I say drastic, I did something drastic. And I don't regret it. I sold my house. I sold my cars. I sold everything. I packed a bag and I left. I left to sit on the island, and I sat on the island until they told me I had to go home. And then I put in for residency. And I got a visa. I had a visa. Well, still got it. And where I could travel back and forth. And it was nice. It's nice getting out of the country. It really is. It breaks it up. It's just the fact of coming back here. And now, coming back here, where do you go? If you sold everything, where do you go? That's just the thing. You don't want to be a burden on anyone. So now you have to pick up one of these old apartments, or I just refuse to buy another house. I refuse to buy another house. I'll do a bed and breakfast, or I'll do an Airbnb, or over here in the United States, or sometimes my husband, he'll find somebody who, where we can rent a room from because they're not utilizing their home. So we'll do a home sit. Um, but where do you go? So now you're kind of like lost in life. You know, but see, what you have to figure out is, are you going to stay? That's just my thing. Am I going to stay in the United States? I don't know. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. I don't know. I am still trying to figure it out. And I listen to all these YouTubers, like Stephanie Perry. I love Stephanie Perry, um, and her crew. And I listen to, I even joined the house sitters, but I just haven't done it yet. I'm thinking about, maybe do a house sitting, see how that works out. Um, but that's, you know, I love it. And I'm trying to figure out if I can do something to generate income. I guess, while I'm in these other countries, even though, it will help out. It will help out. I haven't figured it out yet. I was listening to this one lady. She's in Hawaii. She said she did the same thing I did. She sold everything and just left and went to Hawaii. And Hawaii is expensive. I'm like, well, what are you doing? But the fact that I had to retire early, and it's because some people don't think that you should be working um, alongside of them because of the color of your skin. And if you're working in an environment where you could be compromised and bring in items and all this stuff for people who are inside of confinement, and because I look like this and I'm from old Trenton, New Jersey. Oh, she's doing it. She's bringing it in. I'm not bringing in nothing. I was raising kids. I ain't got no time. I didn't have no time to be compromised. I had to finish paying bills. I had bills to pay. But it was the same people who put the finger at me that was doing the dirt and made it hard for me to stay for my full retirement. And because I was losing this, when I say I was losing my mind, I was losing it. I was really, really losing it to the point where people who was confined was telling me, you burned out. And they were right. And one day I didn't even tell anybody. I put in my retirement. I didn't tell a soul until the last day. I called my boss maybe about an hour before I left and told him this would be my last day. I'm retiring and you can get with personnel, and he didn't even know. I just left. That's how messed up I was in the head, and I had to leave. But you know what? Right now, I'm good. I'm good. I know I got my hair. I'm about to go to bed. That's why I'm like this. I figure I'll put something out. I'll take this off tomorrow. But I figure I'll put something out just to see, how this work out. All right, everyone. But be blessed. Love everybody. Even though you think you can't smile, try to smile. Sometimes I wake up, days are hard for me, but I just keep going. You have to keep going. You're here. You can't go nowhere else, until God calls you. So you have to. And when you greet somebody on the outside, if you don't want to say hello, smile. Just smile. Because that smile is contagious. Because 9 times out of 10, they'll smile back. And if they don't, You got to figure out what you're dealing with, you know? Because demons don't smile back at you. And even if they don't smile back at you, that's fine. That's fine. Touch their soul. Plant that seed. Hey, I want to introduce myself. I should have introduced myself before I started this. My name is Ilyasah, and I was named after one of Malcolm X's daughters. Never got to meet her. I reached out to her, couldn't find her. Never heard back from her, so I guess it must be like a few of us out there. And growing up with that name, it was tough. It was really tough because everybody else's name was Karen, Sarah, Mary, or whatever. But my name is Ilyasah Roberts. Yes, it's me. And I have a story to tell. I'm not going to tell it all. I'm not going to put any, names out there and shame people and whatever. But this is just to let people know that you're going to be okay. And they told me, they said, oh, you should go ahead and get counseling. Counseling, they want $100 to. I'm not paying nobody $100 just so they can sit and talk to me. And I gotta relive what I went through. I don't want to relive what I went through. But just to let folks know that, if you've gone through some things that I went through, the hardship of working along people who you're supposed to trust and you can't trust them, or they don't like you because you don't work the same way, or you're not kissing anybody's tail, or you're not afraid of them, but you need your job. At the time, I needed my job because I was still raising kids. So I had to fight. I fought for my job so many times where I was being suspended. The door was like a revolving door. As soon as I would come in, I would have to go back to personnel, and then I would have to go back out on the street. It was terrible. It was terrible. It was terrible to the fact that I had to keep asking, what is the age of retirement and how many more years do I have? As soon as I had the years, I had to wait. No, it was like as soon as I had the years, I had to wait for the age. And as soon as I had turned 50, baby, I put that paperwork in. It was January 2016. I put that paperwork in. It might have been before that. It might have been December. I might have been working on that paperwork for about 2 months. And when I had got my date to retire, I left and never turned back. I tried to work, though. I tried to go back into that industry, and I tried to work. But I can't. I tried, but I can't. You know why? Because that last job messed me up so bad. I cannot take an order from a person. I can take an order from a person, but I can't take an order from a person that's not fair, is what it is. When I see that you're not being fair and you're treating me differently and you're treating the other people like, with special treatment, and I can't be a part of that, I'm out. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this at all. I mean, just the other day, I had an interview on the phone. I had an interview over the phone, and I asked those good folks, I said, well, why are we over the phone? If you didn't want me, or you didn't want my service, why did you waste my time to have an interview over the phone? And then I said, well, what is the job about? Because I didn't apply for so many jobs. And then they told me what the job was about. And they wanted me to do all this work for $15 an hour. And I have a degree. I was like, I said, listen, y'all, I'm going to stop y'all right now, and hung up the phone. Are you serious? And at my age, it's hard to find a job. to supplement the income. It really is. So you have to do what do something. I like retail. So what I do is I buy things and I sell things online. You know, I'll buy something that's nice. I think it's nice anyway. And I'll sell it online, like a boutique. And everything's legit. And then I take off. I go to this other country, and you know what? And the thing of it is that when you go to these other countries, you still have the internet, so I can still talk to everyone. I just want a place for people to come to when you think that you're all alone, or you're by yourself, and there's not people out there that's like us. There's people out there that's like us. There's people out there that are like us, and we are still moving. We're still going. So don't feel like you're alone. Don't take your life. Don't do that. Don't do that. And the drugs. I started smoking some weed. It was good at first until it became habitual. Until it became habitual, and I was like, I didn't like the way I was looking in the mirror. I didn't like the way I was feeling, but I had a marijuana card. They gave me a marijuana card because they said I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder for working in a confined area, in a confinement. So I was diagnosed with anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder. At one time, I was diagnosed with bipolar. So, but you know what? I don't care, because I'm alive and I have God in my life, and I am part of the great I am. And you have to keep that in mind. You are a part of something. What you're a part of, I don't know, but you have to figure it out, because I'm still trying to figure it out. So don't think that you're all alone. So come and join me on the podcast. I'm going to try to keep this up, and, I'll see, what it looks like, do it a few times and see if I can get the people that has gone through some things in life where they're in the same situation that I'm in, and I'm good. I'm good mentally. I'm getting back there mentally, but not all the time. Sometimes I have dark days, and I don't feel like doing anything, but I push myself. I push myself to get outside, to get some of that air, and not be in the house all the time. I have to push myself sometimes. That's why it's good to pack a bag and just get the heck out. Just get the heck out. They have Airbnbs. You can go and sit in the Airbnb and on a beach somewhere, and you get the fresh fish, and just be a doer. Figure out some things. Have an online store. Get it. I don't know. Whatever you're good at, do it. Just do it. But you know what? Share with other people what you're doing. Because people like us, we need to know what you're doing, because these other good folks with these degrees and stuff, I have a degree too. I have doctor's credits. I have my side credits. I didn't finish my dissertation. I haven't even started my dissertation. That's because I was burnt out. I couldn't even finish my doctor's program. And then my schools closed down. So I don't know how good are the degrees. 2 bachelor's degree, 1 master's degree, and some doctor's credits. But you have all these good folks that's on the internet that, or Zoom and or your medical provider or telling people to go see these good folks and they charging $100 a session or with the insurance is $30 and you can't afford it. I can't. No, man, get out of here. Just no. So if you want, we can all meet together. We can get. I'm really thinking about getting a Zoom for folks like us. To sit and vent just maybe for about an hour or a half an hour and see, what each other can do for the next person, per se. All right, guys, I'm about to wrap this up. I'm not going to hold everybody captive. So, y'all take it easy. And I love all of y'all. I love y'all. Bye.